And I was thinking about that whole concept of just holding on to the past and holding on to things that you're like, this is when I thought it would happen. This is what I thought it would be. And I just kind of stepped back for a second and I just admitted to myself, I was like, you missed it. What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to take a break from the religious and spiritual talks, and I wanted to share with you something that's been helping motivate me to pursue goals and dreams that I have in my life. And really, this thought came to me when I was pondering where I thought I would be at, in 2 months I'll be 25 years old. Where I thought I would be at 25 versus where I actually am. And something I realized that I was doing was I kept hanging on to the past. I kept thinking, I was supposed to make it somehow at 20 or 21, 22. And just thinking back to when I was 18 and I graduated high school, I was like, in the next 5 years, I'm gonna have something, I'm gonna have something to show for music, or I wasn't even into acting then, and acting wasn't even a dream for me then. But then I moved out to California for a bit, and that's when it became a dream. And so even when I was out there, I was like, in the next couple of years, here's where I'm going to be at. And I had this expectation, I had this thing in my head that it was like, this is when things are going to happen, this is how they're going to happen. And well, not necessarily this is how they're going to happen, but it was just kind of like this timeline that I had in my head. And I was thinking about that whole concept of just holding on to the past and holding on to things that you're like, this is when I thought it would happen. This is what I thought it would be. And I just kind of stepped back for a second, and I don't know why this helped me to do this, but I just admitted to myself, I was like, you missed it. I know this might sound super weird, but me admitting to myself, at 18, I missed it. At 19, I missed it. And looking back, at where I'm at now, and the work ethic that I have at every single day, going after things every single day, working on music, working on acting, working on creating content, all this stuff. I look back and I'm like, wow, I really wasted some years. But for me, admitting that to myself of I missed it. At 20, I missed it. At 21, I missed it. 22, I missed it. Just admitting to myself that I missed it. For me, there's always been this thing in me, and I think people always have this choice. But there's the simple basic choice that humans have, or I guess the animals too, the fight or flight instinct. And for me, I've never, I can't say never, but I don't think I've ever been, that I can remember or recall, a person to choose flight. I've always been a fight person. And so for me, admitting to myself that I missed it, admitting you know what, I've missed it. I didn't do the things that I should have done or that I was supposed to do. I missed it, and I'm choosing to admit that to myself and let that go. There's this thing that rises up in me of fighting instead of flighting or flying, and saying I missed it. There's no chance that it'll ever come back. It's there's this thing that comes up in me, and it's I missed it, but I'm only 25 years old, almost 25 years old, and I still have so many more opportunities to pursue these things, to go after these dreams, to go after these goals, and to go, pursue these goals, achieve these goals, and ultimately go after the dreams. And it took me admitting to myself that I missed it, because I think so many people are not willing to admit that they missed it, and so they get stuck in the past. They get stuck in, what they coulda, shoulda, woulda done, and not admitting to themselves, you know what, I missed it. I gotta let that go, and I gotta move forward. And so I think in every human, right? I think in every person, everybody, that the fight or flight instinct, that when you choose to fight. There's always been this thing in humanity in general, this thing of overcoming, this thing of conquering, this thing of wanting to do better. I mean, obviously there's a downside to it because it turns into perfectionism. But when you try to strive for and achieve, some sort of excellence rather than perfectionism, then it can normally have a good result. But in order to get to that mindset of overcoming and that mindset of fighting, you have to let go of the things that didn't happen, that could have happened, but that didn't happen. And so for me, when I was thinking about this, I just remembered back to when I was in that constant state of like not admitting to myself that I missed it, and how detrimental that was to me and to like achieving my goals, because I was unwilling to move because I didn't want to admit it to myself. Like once I came to that point of admitting that I missed it, then it was like, okay, now I can go somewhere from this. Now I can either fight or flight. But as long as I didn't admit it to myself that I missed it, then it was like I was continually held back in the past. And let me just say, ever since I've been, even daily, just admitting to myself, I missed it. Like, it's been so, like, refreshing and relieving to me, just admitting, like, okay, I missed it. Like, today I missed it. Like, yesterday I missed it. Like, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to move forward from it? And some people, don't think like this. Some people choose the flight instead of fight. But in me, and I think in a lot of people, I've always chosen fight. So I hope all that helped in some sort of way. I just really wanted to take a break from the spiritual, philosophical, theological, religious talks and debates or whatever. And if this helped you in some way, if this spoke to you in some way, please let me know what you think about it down in the comments. If just hearing that helped you out, and if you're like, wow, I do need to admit to myself that I missed it so that I can move forward and overcome these things. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you misfits in the next one. Peace.